Good morning everyone, today we're going to be talking about all the different campaigns which are kicking in right after this maintenance. But before we jump into all of that, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to start off is going to be with the system updates. These are essentially the patch notes and there are a ton of things to cover, so I'm just going to be paraphrasing a lot of stuff. So the first thing they do cover are all of the ranger balance changes as well as the gunner balance changes. To be honest, the TLDR over here is basically they're giving you more damage, they're making animation canceling a lot easier, and they're just increasing like your mobility for all of the classes. That's pretty much the TLDR for all of the different skills over here. However, I will leave the link in the description below so that you can read them for yourselves. So for all of my gunner mains as well as ranger mains, make sure that you do read through the patch notes to see what is new, or you can wait for one of the content creators to make an in-depth video about this. But for today's video, we're just going to be skimming through it because there are a lot more things to cover. So the next thing they talk about over here about some enemy changes. So basically whenever dread enemies spawn, sometimes there's like high level mobs around them. They've deleted all of the high level mobs. It's just the dread enemy. So you just need to focus on one thing. Everything else that spawns around it is going to be weak and just basically trash mobs. So you don't need to worry about that. There's a bunch of changes with the quests and fields, basically making queue times a lot shorter, making your life a lot easier. So that is very nice. Some UI changes, some character creation changes, some creative space changes. The notable thing about the creative space changes is the maximum amount of Genesis points has been increased from 100,000 to 150,000. So you can have a lot more Genesis points, which is very, very nice, since I know a lot of people usually hit the cap pretty quickly, especially if you did watch my video on like how to get the rainbow tree every single day. You rack up those points incredibly quick. So it's nice that they did increase the cap so that you can carry a little bit more. However, the patch notes that I want to go over in more detail are going to be the item changes, because there are a lot of things to go over here. So the first thing I want to go over is they have added a ton of changes to the exchange shop over here. You can now actually get End Master Cubes normally through an exchange shop, which is very, very nice, because the only way to get this before was actually through the treasure shop and paying 5 million Meseta. So now you can actually obtain these through normal means instead of just like spending raw Meseta and a ton of RNG, or just from titles as well as, you know, objectives and stuff like that. We also now have confirmation that the High Kavara's Domina is added, so this is now available in the game. On top of that, we also have two new items added to the item recycle, and that is the end rare drop rate plus 100% for 1 hour, as well as the add preset skills level 1. Remember, you use NEX cubes to exchange for both of these items. That is incredibly nice, very free to play friendly, and you know, being able to add a preset skill or a fixa onto any of your weapons or your armors, that is incredibly useful. Now on top of that, they've also added the ability to get all of your TA customization disc B through the weekly task Visit Creative Spaces. So this is super easy. Again, if you've seen my video on how to get all the rainbow trees, you literally do that every single day and you will complete this one. You'll get all of your TA customization disc Bs and you're going to get a bunch of Genesis points, so it's a win-win across the board. Now the big thing over here is the ARC's record badge exchange. Hopefully you guys have been watching my pre-maintenance checklist videos and actually doing everything that I recommend you guys to do, because you can actually use your ARC's record badges and immediately exchange for a 10-star rarity Rayar Mark 1 weapon series. Now this is going to be the Mark 1 versions, which means they are weaker than the regular 10-star rarity Rayar weapons. Alright, so just understand this is the weaker version. However, the thing about these Mark 1 versions is you can use this as a multi-weapon. So let's say that you do get a Rayar weapon that you don't really like. You know, maybe you get like a Rayar weapon Wildlands and you're like, oh, I don't need this. What you can do is you can pick up the Rayar Mark 1 weapon, like let's say a katana, and you can multi-weapon with the regular Rayar weapon. That will convert the Mark 1 into an actual fully fledged 10-star rarity Rayar weapon. And so you're good to go. You know, you'll have your wired lances, which is the one that you got as a drop, and then you multi-weapon with the weapon that you actually want to use, so in my case a katana, and it will convert your Mark 1 katana into a fully fledged 10-star rarity Rayar katana. So that is really useful. So, you know, that's really nice if you are extremely lazy, or if you just happen to get a regular rare weapon with a high Fixa on it, and that way you can actually use it as your main weapon, which is very nice. On top of that, they've also replaced all of the different weapon camos. You can see we've got Bronyaga Almaties, as well as all these other Almaties. I think the Lumiere Almaty looks pretty nice, so we are gonna need to check this out. On top of that, the weird thing is they've added the 9-star rarity armors into the Trial Tames trapping, which is very weird, because this can be done in the open field, like open world. You can do this anywhere basically, and all you need to do is herd some animals into this one zone. It's a very easy quest to do, and I'm very surprised that they're adding a 9-star rarity armor into the reward pool for this. They've also added a bunch of meat as a reward, which is very nice because, you know me, I always need crisp meat. Luckily for the Kavaris region, I've done so much of that limited time quest before. We had like the Santa or the Benefon one, which gave us a bunch of crisp meat, so I did spam the living daylights out of that, so I'm good. But if you do need more crisp meat, then you might want to go out to the exploration zones and do the Trial Tames trapping, because you might get the chance of getting the 9-star rarity armor, which is actually pretty crazy. Another thing they've also added is for the Aegis Integras, you can now get unlimited Aegis Integras through your Neo A weapons. So there used to be a limit of only 10 Neo A weapons per week where you can exchange them into Aegis Integras. That limit has now been removed, so you can exchange all of your Neo A weapons into Aegis Integras. And on top of that, they've also increased the trade limit in order to get your Aegis Souls, your Ale Dominas, Ret Dominas, Kavaris Dominas, and Stia Dominas. Remember, these are used to build your HAL Finales, which in turn can be upgraded into Lux HAL Finales. So this is super nice that they've increased the trade limit to 5 now. So that is a lot. So basically every week you can essentially make 2 HAL Finales or 2.5 HAL Finales, which is actually really nice compared to having to wait 2 weeks to make 1. So definitely take full advantage of this, as Lux HAL Finale is going to go up in demand because everyone's going to be upgrading or re-augmenting their gear, especially on Ultra PSO2 Day, which is going to be February 2nd. So make sure that you hoard up all your materials, and then on February 2nd, that is when you pop your shop pass and sell a lot of stuff if you want to make a killing, or you might want to preemptively pop a shop pass and start selling stuff earlier so that you beat everyone before everyone starts undercutting each other and the prices go crazy. Now another thing that I see over here that is pretty interesting is specifications for item recycle has been changed so that the following items can be exchanged as target count bonus items. And there's a bunch of EX Dash and EX Glides over here. I don't know what this is. I'm gonna need to log into the game and check what on earth this is, because I do like the sound of the rewards of being able to get the EX variants of all of this. However, what on earth does it mean by target count bonus items? This is something that I'm gonna need to take a look at. I'm guessing this is probably like the bonus items, like when you scratch X amount of times, those cosmetic items that you get from that. Maybe you can convert those into more dash items and glide items. I'm not entirely sure, but I'll figure it out once the servers go live. The next thing I want to go over is, of course, the Fixas. So now you can actually roll for all of the new Fixas. So, you know, a Bandak, Blastor, all of the cool stuff over here. You're able to obtain these by smashing armors together, by smashing weapons together, and gambling for a Fixa, which is very nice. Or if you don't want to smash any armors or weapons together, remember, we have that new item over here where it's add preset skills level 1, which we can get weekly. So you can just use this item and just smash that, and hopefully you do get a new Fixa onto your weapons or your armors, which is very useful. Next up is, of course, all of the changes to the Fixas. Unfortunately, they didn't tell us what exactly the changes are. They just said that the stats have been improved. So we are going to need to wait for the servers to go live to actually log in to actually see what the changes are. However, the main ones that I'm going to be looking at is going to be Fixa Termina and Fixa Fatale. I think these two are going to be the most important ones, but they did specifically say that they are all buffs across the board. So, you know, basically all the Fixas are going to get stronger. That's pretty much the TLDR. And last but not least, the attack power for the 9-star rarity MonkaS Weapons series has been increased. This weapon series is the pay to win weapon series. You have to buy the level up bonus or the gear bonus thing package in order to get the MonkaS weapon, so that's why I call it the MonkaS. But nevertheless, they've powered it up a little bit in order to keep up with all the other weapons, because it would be kind of weird if you spent money to buy this package and you got like a super underpowered weapon. So yeah, they did balance this weapon to make it a little bit more appealing. But I still don't really recommend people to buy this package unless you just really want to. Maybe you're building an alt on another ship, or if you just don't have time to gear up yourself and you just want to play with your friends immediately, then I mean, sure, it's, you know, I can't stop you. You can definitely buy it if you want. But you know, in my personal opinion, I really don't think it's worth buying the MonkaS weapons. The next campaign I want to go over is the great deals in the AC shop, and this one is actually a pretty good deal. The super savings deal with the booster set, you get a rare drop rate plus 200%, as well as an NEXP earn plus 100% for 200 AC. I think this is actually pretty decent. You know, 200 AC isn't that much, and you know, increasing your rare draw rate by 200% is okay. I would definitely save this for Ultra PSO2 day, because you get 200% rare drop rate on Ultra PSO2 day. You pop this, you get 400% rare drop rate. That would be really, really nice. And then the EXP earned, you know, whatever. This ain't that big of a deal, especially since we're all gonna hit level 85 incredibly quickly. But you know, maybe you want to accelerate the progress even faster and you want to level up all 10 of your classes in one sitting, then sure, maybe you can pop this 100% and then spam some yellow triggers or spam some PSE burst or whatever, and you will level up incredibly quickly. The second package over here is the premium 90 days pack plus bonus. So the price is exactly the same as a regular 90 days premium at 3,300. However, you do get a bonus Grand Dreadkeeper S. So this is a 100% chance of getting Grand Dreadkeeper onto your weapons or armors. That's pretty valuable. And you also get a customization disc X, which is not as valuable. Sure, you're time gated on this. You can only get one per week, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But nevertheless, these two items are free since they, you know, you're paying the normal price for just 90 days premium. So if you need the premium, you could definitely buy this, because the Grand Dreadkeeper S capsule is definitely really nice to have. Now, with all that out of the way, of course, we need to talk about what content is live on the server today. So the first thing is going to be the new main story chapter 6 final part. So I am going to be blasting through this the first thing I do. Remember, the main story does give a lot of EXP. So if you just want to hit level 85 on your main class, you can just blast through the story, and that will probably get you to max level immediately by the conclusion of the main story. The next thing is going to be the Kavaris region updates. So as I said in yesterday's video, the Gorge area is going to be the main area where you're going to be farming for a lot of the cool stuff. And you know, you basically need to familiarize yourself with the mechanics, with the torches, in order to protect yourself from the cold damage. However, you could always just eat the food. There are consumables which give you immunity to the cold for like an hour, so you can just eat that. The food is a little bit rare, to be honest. The 100% ones are a little bit rare. However, I recommend people to just learn the mechanics in the Gorge area and just use them, because it's going to make your life a lot easier, and that way you don't need to invest into crazy gear or any crazy augments, or just, you know, farm for those food buffs. It'll just make your life a lot easier. Next up is, of course, they've increased the combat sector of Beluga Ruins. So this is where you can farm up for those consumables or those food items to give you the 100% protection from the cold damage. And of course, all of the mobs over here do have a chance of dropping the new 9-star rarity armors, as well as the 10-star rarity weapons, which is definitely very nice. The next thing I want to go over is, of course, our level cap has been increased to level 85, so that is definitely very nice. So make sure to level up all of your classes. As I said earlier at the very beginning of the video, we have some new changes to the Ranger as well as Gunners, so basically buffs all across the board, which is really nice. Our creative spaces also got an update. We now have the Kavaris region, so you can add like a snowy biome, which is really nice, and they've also made a lot of quality of life changes as well. And then last but not least is, of course, the AC scratches. We've got like a bajillion AC scratches. Well, actually like 2 AC scratches. But nevertheless, if you did want any of this, you can definitely check this out.
Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again.
But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.